Welcome, Sian. How'd you find the place? All right?
Yeah, it was a bit hard to get to, but I found it okay, thanks.
No worries. Well, welcome to tonight's lesson, which is measuring and marking and using a handsaw to cut that mark. My name is Alex. I'll be your trainer for tonight. Let's start with what are the two main measurements systems that we use every day?
Metric and imperial.
That's right. As you can see on your handout on your desk, you can see the difference between the metric, which is inches and feet, and imperial the other way around. Imperial's inches and feet, and metrics millimeters, centimeters, kilometers, all that sort of stuff. Bit of a quiz question. Do you know where the metric system was invented?
Correct?
It was. Do you remember what year?
Oh, gee, what, like 1805?
Pretty close. 1799. In the French Revolution, according to Wikipedia. Alright, so as I said before, my name is Alex. I have been a carpenter for nearly 20 years. I've spent most of my career in a variety of different sectors of the domestic construction, building high-end homes, building spec homes for volume builders, medium density building, multi-unit developments. I have employed and taught apprentices of my own. I've been a site manager, but now I am currently a lead carpenter for a commercial builder on a project in the CBD. There's not a day goes past that I don't use measurements. Knowing how to use a tape measure is absolutely a skill one for working in construction. What is measurement? Britannica.com defines measurement as process of associating numbers with physical quantities. Measurement is a fundamental to engineering, construction, and other technical fields, and to almost everyday activities. Measurements are essential in construction for ensuring accuracy, efficiency, and safety. They are used to define dimensions and quantities which are crucial for planning, designing, and executing construction programs. Today's lesson will be roughly 30 minutes altogether. We will have a short break in between our in-classroom presentation and our practical part of the lesson where we'll be moving to the workshop. If you have a look at your hard copy handout, we'll go through the roadmap for today. On page 2, we'll have a presentation followed by a demonstration, and then we'll have a go at you using the tools and practicing them with a few smaller exercises. Once we have completed our practice exercises, we will have a small assessment task, which will be identifying a requested piece of timber using our tape measure, then creating a mark of that measurement to a piece of timber and cutting the mark with a handsaw. Then towards the end, we'll recap and summarise. The outcome of this lesson is by the end of the 30-minute session, you will be able to hold and the tape measure correctly. You will use the tape and square to mark specific measurements and be introduced into how to use a handsaw correctly, ready for continued practice after in your career. These are vital beginner skills for carpentry. If you have a look on your third page of your handout, you'll see a map of the building. Toilets are located here. Kitchen for tea and coffee are here. And today's lesson will be here, and we will move to the workshop, which is marked here now. Now, in case of an emergency, you'll hear our alarms. Please go calmly to move to the front of the workshop located here on your map. Is there any questions?
After the break, can we bring tea and coffee into the workshop?
Unfortunately, we won't be able to bring tea or coffee into the workshop, but yes, you can have it during the break. All right, let's start presentation. In construction, we use a metric system. We don't use it like we did in school. We don't use centimetres. We only use metres and millimetres. On site, we use dimensions to identify materials such as timber. Those dimensions are width, depth, and length. So this timber would be 70 by 45 at 400 long. If you turn to your next page in your handout, you'll see photos of different tapes. These are the most common used tapes: the 5, the 8, the 10, which are just handheld tapes, and then 30-metre tapes, and also rulers. Some tapes will have both imperial and metric on. Today, we'll be using the most common tape used by carpenters, which is the 8-metre. Also, on the next page of your handout, you'll see different types of squares. You'll see the big roof square, which we use for setting out roofs. We also use it for setting out stairs. The combo squares, which has an adjustment on the side of it, which changes the length. And set squares, which are generally just small versions of the roof square. Today, we'll be using a set square. They're pretty sturdy and will hold a square very well. The next page of the handout will show the next tool, the hand saws. There are different types of hand saws for different types of cuts. If you have a look at the top one, it is a panel saw for straight cuts. That's the saw we'll be using today. The next saw will be a tenon saw for smaller, neat cuts and finishing work. The coping saw is the last saw on the page there. It looks a bit different than the others, and we use that to cut different shapes. Hand saws can be dangerous, so we must remember to carefully watch my demonstration and take care and be slow in practice. Okay, let's take a small break and meet back in the workshop. All right, welcome to the workshop. How was the coffee?
Good, thanks.
No worries. All right, now based on our presentation before, do you recognise any of the tools here?
Yeah, so we've got an 8-metre tape measure, panel saw, a square,
Set square.
that's a set square, and this is a
Combination.
combination square. Yeah.
All right, so let's have a look at the tape first. So this is the standard tape. A few of the features are the button. Now we need this just to hold the tape in position at a measurement we want to use it for. Now, using a tape to find measurements, we use button and hook on. Now those terms are to describe how we start and what we're measuring the edge of or whatever like that. So if you notice the tip, it moves. Now what that does, it allows for the button and hook on. The thickness of the tip, if we hook on or butt in, we're going to get the same measurement. So if I butt in like that and measure the length of this square, it's going to be 300. If I hook on, measure, it'll be 300. It's just how tapes work. In combo square, they're generally 300 long. Now we use this to just for scribing or changing the length of what we want to measure or mark. Just tighten it like that. Set square, like I said before, a bit of a triangle. You can use it as a 45 degrees, mark 45 degrees, or a square cut. You have a little internal corner here. That's what you use to hook on what you're marking, and mark it. All right. So let's do that. So the demonstration will be in two parts.
Mhm.
Measuring and then the saw. So as we spoke about before, identifying timber is used by its dimensions. Do you remember what they are?
Yes, so the timber dimensions are the width and the depth and the length.
Alright. So if I want to find out what this piece of timber is, it is the width 70 by 35. So this is 70 by 35. And then whatever the length is, we hook on down there. This piece of timber is 70 by 35 at this 50 bar. Alright, so what I want to do is make a mark. So I want to cut a piece of timber of 90 by 45, the width of this table. So first of all, find the width, 900. We'll grab my timber. Now, are you left or right-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Alright, but I'm left-handed, so I hold my tape in my left hand, in my right hand. So I'm going to hook on, mark 900, grab my set square. Now I want to mark across the base or the width first. So put the internal corner on the edge there like that. Mark down, turn down to the edge, and turn it up like that. So it's using a tape and mark, and then I'll flip it apart using the saw. Alright, so this is a panel saw. Don't pick it up by the teeth, okay? Pretty simple, handle. Now, people pick a saw up and they'll hold it like this. You can, but it's much better if you have your index finger there. It just creates a bit more control for starting. Alright, so I've got my timber. I know that I want to cut this at 900. So this is the piece I'm keeping. I want to make sure that my saw is on the waist side of the line. Now to line it up, just like in the kitchen, cutting vegetables, use your fingers to help guide your knife. We do that with our saw, with our hand. So what you want to do is use the top bit, top knuckle of your thumb, tuck in your thumb, and just point it out like that to help guide. Now, you can use a clamp or your body to hold the timber down. So I'm just going to line that up, lining it up with the waist side. Now notice my body is side on. This allows for my hand to have lots of freedom to just go back and forth. You don't want to be behind it and be congested, but you won't be able to start the saw, you won't get a good cut. And also, if you're on the side, you can get better vision to see if your cut is going straight or not. So, I line it up. I just start slow. Sometimes it can jump, but you don't want it to be. Notice I'm not going hard. Just nice and slow. Letting the jaw cut. Now I'm starting to get into a position where I can move my hand away and clamp down on the timber a bit better. My arms going back and forth. I'm watching along here, along the edge, or along the face here. Make sure I stay straight. I'm being able to have my head over what I'm cutting, and I can see if my saw is tilting. So I'm watching that, making sure it's not tilting. Back and forth. Not going hard, letting this forward to the work. All right. So let's just do a quick recap. We hold the tape in our knot in our opposite hand that we write with. Index finger underneath, we clamp with our thumb. We find the width and the length and the depth of the timber using our tape. We can hook on the butt end. All right. Have a go. There's a bit some timber on here. See if you can find and identify what these timbers are and the length of them.
Okay. So that's the weight. And its length is 500.
And then you can feel the control, the grip.
Yeah, it's good. The width is 90 by 22. That's 90 by 22 timber, and its length is 1380. This piece of timber is 140 by 50. And its length is 1454.
All right. Can you find me the length and the width of the table?
Of the table. Okay. So the length and the width. The length is 1500.
So just see what you've done there, right? When we use a measuring tape, we really don't want to bend it because as you're bending it, it increases. So look at that one. What's that?
Yeah, so it's 1505.
Yeah, I'm reading 1507. But really, when we go alongside and don't bend over something, what's that?
Yeah, it's 1500.
So it's really important when we use the tape to have it straight. All right.
All right, so that is 1500 in length and 902.
Awesome. Okay, so let's try making some marks in the timber. On my 900 length of timber, 90 by 45, can you please mark 300, 400, 500 and 600 for me?
Okay. So if I hook on the tape measure, I'm then going to measure, what was it? 300,
400, 500.
300, 400, 500 and 600. I'll then use my square.
Do you remember what that one's called?
A set.
Making sure that that's hard up. Yep.
How's that?
Perfect. All right, so let's have a go at using the hands. we make a mark 200 mil, we cut in a piece of 200 mil long.
Okay. So we make a mark at 300. Right.
Put the clamp there. Right.
A handful of hold that, then
Maybe pull you to sleep. I just thinking.
okay. To begin with, I thought, oh, I was really uncomfortable. I had to really position myself a bit better. But yeah, I think it was okay.
Right, we'll get you to do it again. This time, try. You're a bit far back. Try being a little bit closer. So yeah, your eyes sort of want to be on top.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to help you with the tilt. So if you have a look at your cut here, it's tilting a little bit. You can control that and keep an eye on it by being a bit more over the saw. Okay, and then just remember to have the mark, the index finger like that. Alright, do you want to cut me another piece at, we'll just try and miss those knots, at 170.
Okay. Right. So, sure. 170.
Just swap the square around.
All right.
Yeah, lining up flat on the waist. Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty good. Alright. So again, near the end there, when you were bouncing, You weren't using the whole saw, so you just want to make sure you're going all in one smooth motion like this. As soon as you start going and trying to push, not let it just flow, you're going to fall. But all right, now let's have a bit of a test. It's move this out the way. So, with what we've learned today, I'll get you to find and cut me a piece of 70 by 35 at 150 foot long. I'm waiting for you.
That is 45. Okay, so I found my timber, that's my 70 by 35. I'm gonna do a length of 150.
You stop us here. Just without timber, you would probably want to go this way. I want to be close to the knots.
Okay.
As we're beginners.
Make a mark of 150. Like, okay, so we'll get me. No, no.
You know, all the time.
Thank you.
All right, let's have a look, hey? Exactly 150. And that's pretty square. All right. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll hop back into the classroom and we'll. All right, so yeah, we're back. How'd you go? How'd you feel?
Yeah, it felt good. I was a bit nervous to begin with, but yeah, it felt good by having a couple of practices and having a go.
Yeah. Did you find the tape easy enough to read and hold?
Yeah, it was. It's definitely a new skill that I'm learning.
Yeah. So tonight we learned how to hold the tape, which you've nailed. Find the measurements on the tape. Find the lengths of timber. We've learned how to identify the timber, which we've been able to complete. Mark it. Complete the mark with a square, and then we've learned and had a bit of an go and start on using a handsaw. Now, like any sort of skill, practice makes perfect. The more you can cut, the better you're going to get. But for the first go, that was fantastic. Using a tape, such an important skill to already have for the start of your career, and it's great that you've learned that tonight. Thank you for coming. Is there any questions?
No, thank you.
No worries. So we've just got a feedback form. Are you able to fill that out and then send it back in your own?
Yeah, no worries.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.